and also we have Philip Kisu, who is the former town clerk of the city of Nairobi. Let's begin with you, Senator, and talk to us about that entire process, because the last time we heard of this is when the devolution conference was happening in Eldoret, and you saw some senators going there to check the status of that. Maybe you can just help us walk through that process quickly and what the Senate considered to say that they are satisfied that Eldoret indeed deserves that status.
Thank you, Sam. I was the chair of the devolution committee in the last parliament that approved the conferment of city status on Nakuru municipality. And I'm very happy to see that Eldoret, which is a town that I went to college, I went to Moi University, the municipality has now been elevated into a city. What people might not get clearly is that it's not the entire Eldoret County that has become a city. It is the municipality that has been elevated to a city. And the municipality covers about 150 square kilometers and excludes the international airport. So if you're living in Keses or you're living in Chepkoilel, you're not in the city. It is a municipality that has been upgraded. Now, the process, as has been listed there, it's quite rigorous. At the beginning, you find that the county government has to set up a task force that has planners, that has architects, that has lawyers, that has got various professionals to assess the readiness of the municipality to become a city. That then goes into the county assembly. That then comes to the Senate. The Senate does public participation. And once the Senate makes a decision on it, it's transmitted to the president, and the president grants a charter. It's a fairly straightforward process. And Sam, I want to urge municipality managers across the country to aspire to become cities. For example, there's Ruiru municipality that is just next door to Nairobi. You know, there's no reason why you don't have a city there. Okay. There's no reason why you don't have a city in places like Meru, etc., because the criteria, the threshold is fairly low. There's a population consideration of 250,000, and I think many of our municipalities, or quite a number of our municipalities, can qualify to become cities.
All right. Juliet, tell us, what should be the basic description or qualities of an area to become a city, away from the law, that citizens would say that when I look at this, indeed, it is qualifying to be a city?
Thank you very much. The basic of it is the services. What are the citizens getting? Because I don't think you can go to the ground and people will say they're in a city if they're not getting services, yeah? And that's something that we look on our end as urban planners and also professionals in the built environment to make sure that a city, once it's getting, or once it is considered to be a city, it has the necessary services to support the functions of a city, and also in terms of the economic or the revenue function of the city.
Okay. And Philip, you've run a city. What for you must tick?
Well, let me join my colleagues in, first of all, congratulating Eldoret for being elevated from a municipality to a city. Of course, this is a landmark, and I'm happy for the people who come from that particular area. Already, Senator Kajwang must be having his own biases because he went to school in Eldoret, and therefore there's no doubt that you know, he has a soft spot for Eldoret municipality. Now, but you see, in determining what becomes a city, it is clearly spelled out in Schedule 1 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2019. Particularly, I think, Section 5, 9, and 10. That's where you find the specifications that will lead into an area being conferred a city status.
Right.
Now, for Eldoret, of course, it meets, for me, it meets one criteria. That is the population, 250 and is above 250. But then when you look at the other aspects that are required for a city, things, you know, infrastructure that will support running of the city, I doubt whether it has met the threshold.
Okay.
And therefore, I mean, we probably now, as a government, and Senator Kajwang is part of it, is part of the Senate, they now need to start pushing for cities to have funding.
Okay.
Because you can't just call an area a city, and that area does not have necessary infrastructure to support running of that city.
All right,
there are many things.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But,
yes, we'll get to the details of...
But let me say this, Sam.
Yeah.
I would have expected them to come out very clearly and say what sort of a city is Eldoret. Because if you look at Boston, for example, Boston is known because of the university, the universities that are there. So Eldoret probably should be a sports city, and that is what we should be promoting.
All right. We'll get to